Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Just Another G.I. Joe Show, episode number 66, the first of 2020. And you can see we're so excited to be here. Aren't you
I'm
excited,
excited
Fred?
by your forehead, because every time you speak, that icon just throbs. It's like you're using your mental powers there, MODOK.
I'm telling you, man. Real quick, Fred, tell people where they can find you at.
Joe Bettelines, pretty much look it up anywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus. Like, it's still a thing, I guess.
You always bring up Google Plus, and I'm wondering when you're just going to abandon it.
He must uses it more often than he doesn't.
It's because I work in digital advertising, and man, Google kept that as their sign-on for years. They would not abandon Google Plus, so
good for them.
And we got Bobby on. Bobby, where can people find you at?
You can find me at Valaverse.com, Valaverse on Facebook, Valaverse on Instagram. So, yeah, I think that's it. Yep.
And you can find me everywhere as Angry Mike. A couple of quick notes before we start talking about some of the, I guess you could say, so-called G.I. Joe news going around. I not putting a little pun out here, but kind of I found out the other day that there was actually a death in the G.I. Joe community. And it was not just a person. It was the G.I. Joe Collectors Club. Their complete website is completely gone. Everything's gone. Nothing there whatsoever. You can't look at none of the archives. You can't go look at nothing. And then people were like, hey, what happened to the Transformers Collectors Club? Oh, guess what? They were hanging on to that sad sack of shit because they're letting the Joe Club sit here and hold on to it. So when 2020 came around, they cut the nutsack off.
You know, I thought 2020 had the possibility of Mike not being able to rant about the club.
Oh, buddy, but I was able to.
Dude, you lasted 11 days.
Oh, man.
This is but he'll have nothing after that.
I won't. I will have nothing. That's why me and Fred actually talked. We're probably pretty much going to go to monthly because there's a whole lack of. But I mean, we'll try to get as much as we can in that one monthly show. I mean, we're not going to come out like every day and do a video of something. I mean,
I just picture Mike.
I saw that burn. That was a nasty dig. That was a nasty dig.
I just picture Mike standing outside Brian Savage's house in a trench coat, holding a boombox over his head, full on Lloyd Dobler. Like, take me back. Yes. I need you.
I need something to talk about.
See, I picture him like walking past Savage's house and just giving the old.
Dude, I've gone to his gate as far as I've gotten.
He lives in a gated community.
Yes, gated community where he kept everything at.
Good.
And apparently, and this came from Jesse. You all know who Jesse is. He had posted over on Twitter something that he had done himself back in 2009. For the Transformers Collectors Club was there was this one figure they did was Young Cup, and he did not have both hands. One was like a tool hand to where you could put like different tools on it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jesse decided to mold some hands and tools and stuff, for them to give away or whatever the case may be. And apparently he gave them to Savage to do whatever with them, and apparently Savage did nothing with them because cleaning out his warehouse, he sent them back to Jesse. So Jesse's giving them away over on Twitter.
Do you mean the garage?
The garage, the pinball room, the child he never had's room. I don't know.
That got dark.
Yeah, I'm just a bitter old man. That's
all right. So enough about the club.
Well, I'll just point of fact there was a death in the G.I. Joe community.
Oh, sweet God.
The G.I. Joe Collector Club is officially dead because it's no longer on the internet. If it was on the internet, it'd be true. But there's nothing on the internet, so it's dead.
So I think tonight, one of the reasons when Mike hit me up, he's like, we got something to talk about. And one of the reasons we have our esteemed frequent guest, I can't get this camera angle crap right, on tonight is there was a bit of news dropped by that great authoritarian news site, the highest source of journalistic integrity in the G.I. Joe fandom. I'm talking about His Tank. And His Tank had posted initially a rumor. It's actually since been somewhat confirmed through the German Toy Fair announcement that Hasbro has offered a license, or there is a license that has been extended to Jazzwares for something related to G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. Now, as soon as that happens, everybody's thinking, hey, look, Jazzwares is making new Joe figures, and I've got one here. So we decided to go to instead of just, speculating idly, we thought tonight we might want to talk to someone who can offer us a perspective of a little bit of Jazzwares, a lot of Hasbro, and that is the gentleman at the bottom of the screen. So...
yeah, well, I'm glad that you guys, allowed me to come on. Everyone knows I worked for Hasbro and I worked for Jazzwares, and it's not like I still don't talk to people. So it's like not like I don't know what's going on. But I think it's funny that another news source, Full Force, didn't give me a call and say, hey, I want to do this news burst. Do you know anything about this? And hey, you guys got the scoop. So, all those other news sources, they can speculate, but I'll give you the lowdown. But I will say that just to be clear, I do no longer work for Hasbro or Jazzwares, so I do not know 100% any of this. But just based on my experience of when I was at both companies, I can explain to you why I believe what you're going to get is true. So, it's going to debunk what everyone thinks. This is going to, if you were hoping for Jazzwares to do your Joe product, it's not going to happen.
No.
Let's get over that real quick.
Get some really cool earbuds.
Yeah, exactly.
But Bobby, they
no.
make figures.
You're not going to get them. So, without further ado, we can get into it now. But yeah, I don't have any inside knowledge, but I mean, I have a little bit of inside knowledge, and I'll share that. But it's not going to be what everyone thinks. So we'll just get the facts straight now, and so that everyone doesn't have to speculate on my Fortnite figures are going to be in the same box as my G.I. Joe figures. Not gonna happen.
Well, and as a disclaimer, I mean, Jazzwares and Hasbro have worked together in the past.
Yeah. That when I was there, they were doing Nerf. So yes, they but it's like Jazzwares was doing the things that essentially Hasbro would never do, that really didn't want to do. They look at, and it's what I like about Jazzwares was that, they would do a $5 million line, or a $10 million line, or a $15 million line, where Hasbro wouldn't even bat an eye at a $30 million line. They're like, no, not worth our time. Which is why you didn't get G.I. Joe for all these years, is because Hasbro wants 50 million or above. They don't even want to waste their time. I can tell you about Hero Mashers and that fiasco, on how they destroyed a line that was still bringing in, $50-60 million. They're just real greedy, and they only want to put their effort into things that are going to make ridiculous amounts of money. Jazzwares has built themselves because they're like, yeah, no, $5 million is $5 million. Like, and they've built themselves to be this power player, especially getting Fortnite and Peppa and Roblox, those brands help. But yeah, no, they're like, oh, you'll give us a piece of Nerf? Oh, it's only $5 million? Sure, great. Sure, we'll take it. Listen, if you told me like, yeah, I can put, the Valaverse stamp on Nerf, great. Yeah. Oh, and I'm only going to make $350,000. Okay, sure, I'll take it. And that's just the difference.
So what exactly, for those people that aren't familiar with this, what exactly did Jazzwares make for Nerf? Were they making the guns? Were they making
No,
accessories?
they were not doing any blasters. They were doing like some targeting things, some secondary items. So that getting into like the Joe Jazzwares thing, you're not getting figures. You're not. Hasbro is doing their own figures. I know that for a fact. So you're not getting figures. You're gonna get those secondary items. You'll probably get, if I had to bet on it, Jazzwares has domes, their line domes, which was done by another company that they acquired,
Yes.
but it's like their small collectible thing that's in like a clear dome. They had Marvel, Star Wars, they had like all the licenses, but you'll probably get Joe for that. That's gonna be the closest thing to figures you're gonna get. Other than that, you're probably gonna get, I don't know if this for a fact, like alarm clocks or earbuds, things like that. Maybe they'll do some role play. Maybe Jazzwares will handle their role play. Maybe you'll get, a drone or an RC vehicle or something like that. You are not getting figures. I would bet all of Action Force, all of Valivers on the fact that you are not getting G.I. Joe figures from Jazzwares. Which is why Hasbro wouldn't let the club do anything. They're like, nope, we want our figures back. Hasbro wants to be their own master toy license. Hasbro's never going to let someone else be the master toy license of a brand of theirs. It's never, ever going to happen. They're too greedy. They're too egotistical. They're like, nope, we'd rather let this brand sit, on a shelf for years, not just collecting dust, than let someone else do it. It's like Daryl's gone out before and tried to license Joe, and Hasbro wanted way too much for it. So, I think Jax was interested in it, maybe Spin Master at the time, but I think Jax was one of the big players that was interested. And, Hasbro wanted way too much money for, a brand that they weren't doing anything for. So it's like, well, wait a minute, you want to give me this license and I got to pay you how much, and you're not doing anything to help the brand build? So, it's just Hasbro. It's Hasbro and their shitty way of thinking. But, at the end of the day, you're going to get some Joe product from Jazzwares. It is not going to be figures. It's not going to be 6-inch Legends type figures. Hasbro's going to do those. It's not going to be 6-inch kid figures. Hasbro's going to do those. It's not going to be, just wait for it, Bendies. You see this new Bendy trend? You see those Bendy figures that are out on the market? Yeah, Hasbro loves those. Get ready, folks. Get ready to be disappointed. Wait for some Joe Bendies. Just wait.
So in some aspects, you can say Jazzwares will kind of cater to the fan of G.I. Joe that's not a actual toy collector.
Not necessarily. I think Jazzwares' focus is probably going to be more on kid product.
They're going to focus more towards children.
Yeah. Because that's their product's always geared towards kid. It's kind of like the, Fortnite. They do 6-inch, but their 6-inch figures aren't marketed for collectors, even though we know they're collector, because McFarlane has the collector rights. So McFarlane does the 7-inch figures. I think that's kind of why McFarlane comes with a stand or something, because I think collector, categorizes themselves as coming with a stand or something like that. So I believe Jazzwares will be more focused on kid product.
People in the chat, thanks for watching. Stillwin87, Sportimus, Jeffrey Yonder. He loves your beard there, Bobby.
Thanks. I'm actually, it's gotten like out of control. I just let it go, and it's gotten really gnarly, and it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I need to do something different. So I think maybe this week I'll trim it up a bit. I'm gonna keep it kind of long in the front, but I'll thin it out a little bit.
It's so funny you should mention that. Mine got Paul Bunyan out of control. I just had hair at the side all over the place, and it was just gnarly. So I ended up shaving all the sides, and I kept the goatee really long. I still have the beard. It's just trimmed up really, really, really short right now. Fred just sent a message that he lost his internet. They had snow up there yesterday. I guess those storms that went through.
I just ruined his parade with he was really hoping for Jazzwares Fortnite figures, and I ruined it for him.
And And I know you're not a huge fan per se of the His Tank and the His Tank forums, but I just want to quote something here that I read earlier, or actually yesterday, I think, and I was trying to figure it out. Someone named Silver Optimist, which I don't know who he is. Anyways, I'll clear a few things up. Yes, Hasbro is working on their own line of G.I. Joe figures. Belgium or Belgium is right on that, another member. They've been doing so at least since June of 2019, as there were several pitch meetings, etc. The team who worked on Transformer Evergreen is working on the line too. And no, I haven't seen any figures or concept. As for Jazzwares, we don't know what they are doing. It could be a figure line or it could be some sort of licensed merchandise. Hasbro is in partnership with Jazzware for Nerf, but not to manufacture Nerf guns, which we've already talked about that. Hasbro's been giving away other types of licenses as well. He doesn't go in some about Wicked Cool Micro Machines or something like that.
Yeah, Wicked Cool Toys has the license for Micro Machines. Now, that's one of those things Hasbro own, and they're like, what is this? $5-10 million brand. And they're like, we don't feel like making it anything good. Let's just give it to someone else.
And do you think that they did it for the reason of to keep the brand, fresh, hot out there, or
what? For what brand?
G.I. Joe. You think that's why they partnered with Jazzware? No,
I think it's because at the end of the day, Hasbro is not putting a lot of their resources towards G.I. Joe.
And why is that though? Why have they really? The club was doing that.
It doesn't make money. It doesn't make money. At the end of the day, it doesn't make money. Like, listen, I know there's a lot of us left. I think me and Daryl talked about it. There's maybe like 1,000 to 2,000 Joe fans left. Listen, that's nothing compared to Marvel and Star Wars consumers. That's nothing. Like, Joe just doesn't make money. It doesn't, and it hasn't for years. Like, it'll make good money for a small line if you focus on collector. Trying to get kid is listen. It's hard, man. It's really hard. I think what they should have never did was let the brand sit for years. Like, you got to keep it relevant, because what's going to happen is you're trying to gear. You're not catering to the fans. They've already proven that by not giving you any product. So what's going to happen is they're going to try to do this quasi like half fan, half kid line, and it's not going to cater to anybody, because what they're going to do is they're going to try to jam these bendy figures down your throat. Collectors don't want them. Kids are going to be like, well, what is Snake Eyes? What is G.I. Joe? They have no idea. And you're going to expect these kids to know what that is because they're going to go see a PG-13 action movie. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And they're doing nothing to support the brand in any other way. It's like if they had any faith, this is how you can tell they have no faith in Snake Eyes or the Joe movie. They're like, we'll just see how it goes, see if it makes money, and we'll just rest it after a year. What's going to happen is they don't have it. Look, E1, they don't have anything set up. Yeah, I know. Everyone's excited. They said, oh, we're going to do Joe animation. Listen, you're not going to see Joe animation for 2 years if you're going to see Joe animation. So what's going to happen is you'll see the Snake Eyes movie this year. Product will go, what does it come out in fall of this year? Product will go into spring of next year. That's it. And you're not going to see anything else. You guys hoping for this big line, you're going to get 20 to 25 items. I've said it. Daryl said it. Mark said it, because we know how they treat it. You're going to get a 20 to 25 item line of bendies, 6-inch 5-point articulated figures. You're going to get a Legends line, maybe some role play. I don't even know if you'll get a vehicle here. Maybe, probably not. But, you're not going to see vehicles in Snake Eyes worth doing. And that's what you're going to get. And,
I'm not going to get a flag. What are you talking about, Bobby?
Exactly. And that's the thing. So they're not going to have any animation to support any sort of kid focus later on. So their whole play at this is all wrong. It's all wrong. This is what's going to happen.
When you mention bendy. Jeffrey had looked it up and he says ugh. And I'm the same. What exactly is a bendy? I haven't looked it up. I don't know what that is.
So they have
Fred's face is
big initiative. When I was there, when I was still there, they were pushing bendy figures. Like we were just looking at a new action figure. It's like, you know how they have the Titan Hero figure, which sells like crazy. They were always looking for like a replacement for that because they knew eventually it wouldn't be feasible to keep doing those figures. So they were looking at, well, what is the next action figure? What is the next one that's going to sell like crazy in Latin America markets and US markets like Titan Hero did? And bendy was pitched, and the idiot upper management people loved it.
And you're referring to the toys that like used to be out when I was a kid, where they're taking the rubber. And
the Gumby toys.
Yeah. So my buddy created the new bendy line, which looks nice. You know, it's a mix of plastic and bendy material, so it has, you know, this form factor to it that looks really nice. But that was their big initiative. Like Hasbro pushed that so hard while I was there.
0 points of articulation.
0 points
because it doesn't need it. The whole thing is a big piece of wire.
What sucks is like they put it in a really shitty package. Hey, why don't you put more glare on that blister to really illustrate what that figure does? And that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get some Joe Bendy figures. So just wait. Just wait. And your Legends figures, good luck. Like, listen, you'll get them. You'll get them. They're not gonna be as good as Action Force figures. You'll get them. But, you know, at the end of the day, the guy working on them, he's like a fair weather Joe fan. He's like, I was born in the 80s. I'm a Joe fan. No, you're not. No, you're not. So the shit he did, no good. I saw it while I was there. I had to make comments on some things because he screwed some things up, but he's not he doesn't understand the brand, which is fine. I guess if Hasbro wants to bring new light into it, but when you're doing a collector line, listen, it's you know, it's peanut butter and jelly. It's really easy to make. You know, you don't have to like recreate the wheel here. Like give everyone, you know, some cool classic 6-inch figures. You know, maybe do a quasi Pursuit of Cobra twist on them, but you know, that's the way I was handling it when I started the 6-inch line. So, you know, it's unfortunate that that's what you're going to get, but that's what you're going to get.
It sounds a lot like the direction that we're seeing with the Snake Eyes film in general, just based on the story description that's out, the characters. You know, a lot of times in Hollywood, they'll get a script and they'll have an option for a property, and they'll take these two things and they'll mush them together, and they'll end up, you know, with a movie which is about Snake Eyes going to Japan because of the looking for revenge for the death of his father. Probably not donning the mask till the end. You'll get some token cameos by a few Joe characters, and it's the G.I. Joe version of Wolverine's origin because it is mythos light. Yeah. And that's very much what it is.
Yep. Yep.
And that sounds to me like that's kind of what you're describing with the toy line, with any potential toy line, which, to be fair, the Retaliation toy line was not as big as some of the others that came before. Rise of Cobra was pretty expansive from Hasbro.
Yeah.
But Retaliation, it feels like, what, 3 waves, I think, at most?
Yeah, I think it was 3 waves. One of them was late or something like that. You got a couple vehicles, a couple multi-packs, you know, some small role play stuff. Yeah, that was it. You know, for a movie that had The Rock in it. You know?
Well, and look at Bumblebee, and I think Bumblebee is probably a comparison. Bumblebee as a movie did not have a ton of merchandise.
Yeah,
it really didn't.
Yeah,
you know, it was sprinkled into Hasbro's other Transformers properties a little bit, but the Bumblebee stuff itself, I think, was mostly exclusive to Target. I think I saw some at Walmart.
Yeah. And the Transformers team knows what sells. Generations.
Yeah.
Generations.
So what'd I miss?
You missed just me giving people bad news, man. Bad news.
I just read a post off of his tank that someone seemed to kind of hit the same points Bobby was hitting on, but he acted like he knew he goes by Silver Optimus. I don't know who he is though, but I don't know if he happened to know someone inside Hasbro like Bobby does. I guess I don't know for sure.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just my own intuition, and this is coming from being a fan that's been involved for, oh God, has it been 20 years now? As an adult, but anyway, I see that the Snake Eyes and all of the hullabaloo about it and the licensing. I think Snake Eyes is really Hasbro's just dipping their toe back. It's kind of like an audition for G.I. Joe to see if it even resonates again still. And if, and I'm not wishing the film ill, but if Snake Eyes comes out and it doesn't do big money, then G.I. Joe will go away for a number of years because it doesn't cost Hasbro anything. They own the property.
Yeah.
And then maybe they'll dig it out in, 5 to 10 years and try it again.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll do. I'll do something real quick and I'll tell you exactly how well it's going to do. Let me just go to Box Office Mojo and see what Retaliation did. Because that's your benchmark.
Yeah.
Retaliation had The Rock in it. So
and Bruce Willis for the older fans. Mostly.
So, let's see. So domestically, $122 million on a $130 million budget.
Yeah.
Worldwide total, $375 million. So it taking in international, it did well. That's $375 million. That's not really a great number for movies nowadays.
I've heard a multiplier of 3 times is needed.
What?
I've been reading that a multiplier of 3 times is really what you need to be profitable when you factor in marketing.
Deadpool made $300 million domestically. So here's your thing. I think Snake Eyes will do well internationally. Again, I think the international numbers will eclipse the U.S. numbers. Yeah. Your U.S. numbers aren't going to be anywhere near $122 million. I feel like that's like an $80 to $90 million movie U.S. Because, all right, you have G.I. Joe Retaliation. It's called G.I. Joe. It was still kind of a relevant brand. You had The Rock. You had Channing Tatum. You had Bruce Willis. That's what you got.
Yeah.
You have an unknown cast in a single character movie. You mean to tell me you think that that's going to outdo Retaliation? Sure, the budget will be a lot lower. This budget's $130 million. That budget's probably going to be, I don't know, $75 million.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just not going to bring in numbers to warrant doing anything. Let me look up Bumblebee real quick.
I was going to say, because G.I. Joe as an active property hasn't really been active. I'm blanking here. Was Resolute? Renegades was before Retaliation, correct?
Huh?
Was it? What did it go? Renegades.
Yeah, Renegades was first.
Okay, so in terms of being even aimed at kids, that was the last real attempt. And then you have Retaliation, which has been how many years now? And Snake Eyes is, Joe fans know who Snake Eyes is. The general public still, kids today don't know what G.I. Joe is.
Yeah.
And they don't know who Snake Eyes is. And Henry Goldman is nothing against Crazy Rich Asians. He's not exactly a household name.
Yeah. You know what the first thing I noticed when they showed the logo? How small did it say G.I. Joe?
Oh, it's a footnote.
You have no idea. No idea. And I think they did it on purpose. I think they looked at it like, well, we really don't want it to be G.I. Joe, but we'll just kind of let people know like where this character is from. But they just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. All right, so Bumblebee, for reference, Bumblebee did domestically not much better, $127 million on a $135 million budget. But worldwide, they did better, $467 million. But not amazing. Not amazing. Nothing to reboot a franchise.
I think there was franchise fatigue with Bumblebee.
Oh, 100%.
And, I mean, because honestly, the last, all the Bay movies beyond the first one are completely forgettable.
Yep.
And in fact, there's a great YouTube video about the science of why you can't remember what happens in a Michael Bay film. It's fascinating. It really goes into how he shoots films. But so G.I. Joe, on the other hand, I think has such an uphill battle. I mean, even the comics, Nothing. Look, I love G.I. Joe. I got far too much shit that I've acquired over the decades to back that statement up. But just because I like a thing doesn't mean everybody knows what it is.
Sure.
The comic's not a top seller, and comics themselves don't sell what they used to. They're not a viable marketing tactic to reach an incredibly wide audience anymore. The last animated series was on the Hub. How many of you actually had the Hub?
Yeah. I had that who did I have that conversation with about the Hub? I forgot who it was, but I was like, the Hub? Who watches the Hub? Nobody. So you said the cartoon failed. It's like, listen, bite the bullet and team up with a good network. Yeah. Team up with why can't you just go to Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon and say, hey, let's partner on this? No, instead I want to spend $4 billion on E1 and do it myself. Good effing luck, dude. Good luck. Let me know how Hub worked out. Because
you mean Creo versus Mega Bloks?
Yeah, and it's like every time Hasbro tries to do their own entertainment thing, Allspark Studios, do you remember what that was? What happened with that? Exactly. Remember that video game company that they bought, or that app company they bought like 3 years ago? They did nothing with, and then they folded it? Because Hasbro doesn't know what they're doing. Hasbro wants to be an entertainment company, but forgets that they make toys, and they don't know how to do the entertainment side of it because they're too busy on the toys and they just don't know what to do. So good luck with that $4 billion E1 purchase. Let's see how much comes out of that.
It's kind of like Power Rangers in a way. I mean,
don't get me started.
Power Rangers as a brand was not as healthy as it once was. And let's be honest, because it's been around for 20 some years. The best years of Power Rangers were the beginning years, the Mighty Morphin years. And so Hasbro bought this instead of just licensing for the toys, taking that from Bandai. No, they had to buy the whole property.
Yeah.
How's that working out for them? Because I don't hear anything about Power Rangers and the toys. Some of the Lightning Collection stuff sells, but it's mostly the Morphin stuff. Everything else backpiles. And an interesting thing, and this is just my own observation. I'm kind of tangenting here, but my Walmart just up the road reset. And going into Christmas, Hasbro was the front end of the aisle where you walked in. And it was, they did the Toy Story 4 for Disney, I think. Okay. And then they had, Transformers and Star Wars and Power Rangers. All of that's been pushed to the back of the aisle now.
Yep.
Because that's what I saw the most of after Christmas. The stuff didn't move.
Yeah, didn't.
Well, Toy Story
didn't move. I mean, you can army build Forky till the end of time now, which is kind of amusing. Transformers isn't moving around here at all. I mean, they got those those special shippers for the anniversary that had the two versions of Megatron in it, because we need two versions of Megatron simultaneously.
Well, that's because they saw where customizers were making money on cell shade, and Hasbro's like, oh hey, let's make some extra money in doing this.
So that didn't sell. Power Rangers outside of Mighty Morphin isn't selling, and only at the beginning, because we've had Pink Rangers, languishing on the pegs here forever. The only stuff that was moving was Fortnite, some Jurassic, not a ton.
Yeah.
And so I just think that they're in a really bad place right now where they have properties that they can't seem to leverage.
What's going to happen with Power Rangers is what happened 15 years ago. Remember when Saban sold it to Disney?
Yes.
Disney didn't know what to do with it, and then they sold it back to Saban for like pennies on the dollar. Wow. Saban's waiting. He's like, watch this. No one's going to know what to do with Power Rangers but me. Let's see.
James Saban is a businessman from hell.
Power Rangers. Just watch. And then in 3 years or 4 years, Hasbro's going to be like, we don't know what to do with it. Sorry, we screwed up that line. Okay, you want it back for $65 million? Okay, cool.
Did you watch the Toys That Made Us on Power Rangers?
Yeah.
He made a profit buying it back
Yeah.
He bought it back for less than he sold it for. Yeah. I'm like, I love this guy.
Genius. Wow. Listen, I would have laughed. I would have been signing that check laughing.
Yeah.
But he's real good friends with like Brian Goldner, so you know, I'm sure there's some shady business going on there or whatever, but we'll see.
Well, and I mean, the one thing that Hasbro seems focused on is they are focused on the movie side of things, and it seems like more and more of their brands are being headed out of California now.
Yeah,
you know?
Not necessarily.
Or I should say some of at least the creative side, because isn't that where the current brand guy is? He's out of California.
So listen, let me address that real quick, because His Tank is a cancer, dude. They do everything up, and they literally do. Listen,
yeah,
I love Fran. He helped me get Action Force stuff on His Tank, but listen, their news isn't accurate. I saw it come out. John Real heading G.I. Joe. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, big news, because he heads Power Rangers, so he must be good. Me and Daryl and Mark, we laughed our asses off. You know why? Because he was my boss on G.I. Joe in 2016, and he's been on the brand ever since. It's not new news, people. It's not. He's been on the brand the whole time. But it's like no one bothers to like look into this. All of a sudden, maybe some trade rumor comes out, or someone asks a question. Oh, who's heading G.I. Joe? Oh, our VP of design in LA, John Real. He's doing. Oh my God! All of a sudden, it's like, whoa! Let's blow our minds. John Real's doing it. He's been on the brand since 2015. It's not new news. This is another thing. It's like certain friends of mine. Maybe give me a call when you want to do a news story about something happening at Hasbro, and just ask me like, hey, what is it? Is this legit? I could have told you. He's been on the brand for 7 years or 6 years or whatever it's been. He's been there. He hasn't come off of it. It's not new news. I don't know what to tell you. But they're heading it out in LA. Well, you know what they did? Hasbro doesn't know what to do with the brand. It's out in LA. Oh, but I was working on it in Rhode Island for a little bit, reporting to people in LA while me and Daryl were kind of just doing our own thing. And then they moved it back to Rhode Island, but it was still kind of being reported to in LA. Then they moved it back to LA. They just don't know what to do with it. You know why? Because they have this LA team out there, and they have this giant office that's gorgeous, and I think they need to justify paying for it. So we got to put some brands out there. Disney Princess is out there. Power Rangers is out there. The LA team had Star Wars, and they lost it. G.I. Joe, but it's like they don't have Marvel, they don't have Star Wars, they don't have Transformers. All that stuff's done around. So
is LA the entertainment side of things? Is that
not necessarily? It's because, like I said, because Marvel is in Rhode Island, Star Wars is in Rhode Island. They're just too big. They don't have enough people out there to do it. But, so they got to throw something their way. Like Star Wars, when Star Wars was doing those die-cast figures, those were done in LA.
Got it.
Small stuff like that. But they're doing Power Rangers. Yeah, those are G.I. Joe. But not new news, people. Not new news.
I love it when Bobby gets
so basically what we're going to get to the point of is that Bobby has officially just taken that knife and stabbed every G.I. Joe fan who had a hard-on for Fortnite.
No. Listen. I'm not trying to. I don't want to purposely disappoint anyone.
No.
I want to educate people, because everyone's just getting too excited. I'm reading the comments and I'm like, these poor people just getting overexcited, and what they're hoping for. Like, I just want to let people know, like, what you're hoping for is not going to happen. And stuff that you think is news is not news. It's
clickbait headlines. I think don't help, because there are other. I still pop around web forums, including some that are not non-Joe centric, just good figure-based forums.
Mm-hmm.
And when Hiss posted their story, which, let's face it, Hiss wants traffic because Hiss sells advertising.
Yeah.
What? Anyway, when that went out, people were losing their minds over there, going, "Oh, Jazzwares is got the Joe license." No, Jazzwares has a license to produce
a portion
products.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
The fun.
And they're not going to be, out there replacing, this is what they're producing for figures.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, looks kind of like Mike right now in his. I'm convinced Mike's just not wearing pants tonight. But
wear pants.
Bobby has said this. Daryl, people have said this over the years. There are certain aspects of brands that Hasbro's not going to let go.
Oh, why would they?
And why would they? I mean, yes, they should just give it over to Jazzwares because Jazzwares, then Hasbro just be collecting buckets of money.
Yeah.
What was really
a lot
funny?
Of wishful projection.
What I wanted to say was that when that first posted about Jazzwares acquiring, all that, the funny part was that this went up at on the 5th at 3:31 a.m. The very next post, so like an hour and a half later, he says this is going to go off the rails quickly.
Yeah.
And the next post after that is like, how so? So it's really funny how even the first poster, he knew what you're saying is if people are going to be basically losing their shit. Because when I saw it, the first thing that popped in my head was that, no, that's not going to happen. And then I finally text, Bobby, and I didn't even really want to ask Bobby about it because I'm like, I didn't want to think that's the reason why I talked to him. But but then I saw a video somewhere else, and then I was like, no, hold on a second, Bobby, tell me this isn't true.
Well, and I mean, when my phone blew up over this, the one thing that I thought, and I remember having a discussion with both of you about this, and I threw it out there was, my thought was, is Hasbro going to allow a character from the Snake Eyes movie to appear in Fortnite, as Fortnite has done with John Wick and some brief Marvel, and I think lightsabers made an appearance in the game. So they do these short-term like micro promotions for like a character's skin.
I was gonna mention that, although I believe that Jazzwares is not doing anything. I do think because the guys that created Fortnite are huge G.I. Joe fans. Obviously, Jonesy is Duke, he is Firefly. Like, it's a direct kind of ripoff of Joe. I wouldn't be surprised if you get Joe in Fortnite. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get Joe figures in the Fortnite line. Because when I was there and Thanos showed up or the Infinity Gauntlet showed up in the Fortnite line, I was like, please tell me we can do that as an accessory. And they're like, nope, we don't have the Marvel license. They don't have the Marvel license to do toys. If you don't have the license to do action figures, you can't do an action figure. Just the way it is. So let everyone know right now, if Snake Eyes shows up in Fortnite, you're not going to see him as a figure in the Fortnite line. Get over it.
And honestly, on that tangent, that would be a logical place for Hasbro to drop the character.
You would think.
To try to connect with a younger audience.
I bet you Hasbro doesn't even take advantage of Fortnite, because I think they turned down Fortnite, and then took Overwatch instead, and we all know how that worked out for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't allow Fortnite to use like Snake Eyes in the game. I could see them being like real dicks about it, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I'm just letting you know, if you see him in the game, don't get excited. Don't get excited.
And here,
I don't want to rain on everyone's parade. I just want to educate people.
I think that's what I appreciate the most, and that's one of the reasons why I like when you come on and talk about this, because it's not so much. Look, it's easy for all of us, for people to sit around as fans and wish project, but the problem is you have to take and sometimes reconcile. Just because I want a thing doesn't mean it's going to be a thing.
Of course.
Unless you're Bobby and you wanted a Valaverse Action Force figure line, and now you're making a Valaverse.
Or if you're me and you wanted Steel Brigade, just go out and get it.
Someone brought up a question. And I kind of think I maybe have a half-assed answer on it, but what is this, Branion? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name very well.
It's what we expect from you, Mike, is a half-assed answer.
Yeah. What is the point of Hasbro holding on to a brand, G.I. Joe, they will do nothing with? They're
greedy.
They own it outright. They don't have to pay nobody nothing for it. I mean, so anything they make off of it just lines the pockets.
Because the way Hasbro sees it is, say by some chance they license something out to someone and it becomes a hit. They're going to be like, oh shit. Listen, Hasbro had Peppa Pig. Hasbro had Peppa Pig. It was like a $20 or $30 million brand. Then what happens? Goes to Jazzwares. Huge, I think 80, 90, $100 million brand. Huge. You don't think Hasbro's kicking themselves for that? No, let's spend $4 billion so we get it back. We'll show them. No, like that's just their stupid mentality. They're just idiots. They're absolute idiots. I'm telling you, I sat in meetings where me and Daryl pitched ideas. Mark even too, we pitched ideas. Nope, we're not doing anything until there's entertainment. Okay, why? Like why? That makes no sense. Why? Because you can't justify, your salespeople aren't good enough to justify to the retailer why they should be picking this up if there's not entertainment behind it. Let me tell you something. When there's layoffs, do you know who doesn't get targeted? The sales team. Do you know who people at Hasbro? The sales team. They want their job made so easy. There's got to be a movie. We could just pitch to the retailer. Oh, it's a movie. Give me three feet of shelf space. Instead of saying, oh, let me pitch this line, you know? I'll pitch it and I'll sell it. Listen, I've been in meetings, even on Marvel, I'm like, I say to my marketers, I'm like, tell them what it is. Make our sales team work. They're making shit ton of money. Make them work. Do their job. Sell to the retailer. You're supposed to sell to the retailer. Instead, they go in there and say, oh, there's a movie. Here's our set date. Here's the shelf space, blah, blah, blah. Here's how many items. They don't want to work. They don't want to work.
It seems like it's a complete flip-flop of how it used to be. You would create a brand concept. You would, as a toy company, produce a brand concept. Once the concept was you were starting production, the supporting side of it was the TV series, the cartoon series, eventually movies, things like that. Now it's gone the opposite. And it seems to be the focus is we're going to pay to license someone else's brand that's got a movie going on it, and we're going to make the toys we're going to ride that way. And to me, that is almost you're going to have a shorter lifespan for anything, because a movie, I remember Kirk, I think it was Kirk was talking about this when it came to Real American Hero and how they marketed it originally. Is a movie, you go sit in the theater, you see it maybe, if you're nuts, 4 times, 5 times before it hits home video. But back in the day, they had weekly injections of G.I. Joe, daily injections of G.I. Joe into the psyche of kids. And you know what? If you see an Ostriker enough times, and then you look at your toy shelf and you don't have an Ostriker, you suddenly notice the gaping Ostriker-shaped hole in your collection. And by God, you have to have one.
Sounds so easy, doesn't it? It's so simple. Simple. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know what? It's just, listen, man. I'll be the first one to shit all over Hasbro. They have dumb people in really high up positions. I'm going to tell you guys a little fact, and this is probably going to get me blacklisted forever, but I don't like her, and I don't like what she's done to the brand. There was a marketer on Rise of Cobra. Her name was Samantha Lomo. Samantha Lomo, I think, is one of the presidents who has more than one president. Stupid. She's a president or she's a senior VP. Very, very high up, very big in control. She was the marketer on Rise of Cobra. Rise of Cobra didn't do well, and she got burned. So instead of doing her research on the brand of Joe, she looks at it like, I was burned on that brand, so I have a bad taste in my mouth. She's the one who turned down all of our pitches, mine and Daryl's. She's the one that turned down our 6-inch pitch to do classic 6-inch and then put it out for a year and then have movie come out and then keep it going. Nope. She is the one. Samantha Lomo. Everyone remember that. When the Joe brand got destroyed, Samantha Lomo did it.
She's on
because she got burned as a junior marketer working on Rise of Cobra.
Watch Your Retaliation DVD.
Is she on it?
She might be. I think she's on one of the DVDs.
The worst.
Might have been Rise of Cobra. Talk on a featurette talking about the brand.
The worst. What blows my mind is you have Alan Hassenfeld, who cares so much about G.I. Joe and understands that it built the company. And then you have this idiot over here who is now president shutting down a brand that built the company because you got burned on something that wasn't done right. Yeah, it wasn't done right because you had an $8.99 figure on the shelf next to a 25th anniversary $7.99 figure at the same time when it was the same offering. Dummy.
And which packaging was more colorful and which packaging was more engaging visually?
Listen, man, it's simple. There's answers. But you know what? She got burned and she blamed it on the brand. Oh, it's not a good brand. Okay, now you have that stupid mentality of president of Hasbro Entertainment Brands. Yep, dummy. Everyone that's the president of Hasbro, dummy. No, they're all dummies. All of them. You know what? That's what happens when we make big bucks. Make big bucks. You can make stupid decisions. You can sit in a meeting and you can shit on a pitch someone's doing just because you got burned on it years ago. Instead of looking at it objectively and say, okay, well, what do you have to support it? Why do you think it's going to be good? Daryl laid all that out there. Amazing pitch on why it was meant to be. No, we'll wait for entertainment.
Well, and Daryl, I always thought Daryl was a great person. Well, he was. Daryl was a great person to have in any position of authority at Hasbro for Joe, because he was a fan of G.I. Joe. But what's interesting is Daryl didn't just pimp out the era that he liked of Joe as a fan before he got into Hasbro. Once he got into Hasbro, they tried 12-inch. 12-inch didn't resonate at market. But Daryl kept the Joe brand going. Yeah. And it did there were things that happened that, I have a feeling Daryl would have been happy to go back to Adventure Team and, the eras of 12-inch glory. But the market didn't support it, so he moved on.
Yeah. The problem with they looked at Daryl, it's like Daryl is so smart and he knows exactly what he's doing. They looked at Daryl as the collector guy. And it's unfortunate. They should have looked at him as smart and knowing what he's doing. You could put him on any brand and he would have done really, really well. But they put him on collector brands and then didn't like that he pushed for collector brands. It's like, well, that's what you put him on because he knows what he's doing. Listen to the guy, It's like if I create a computer company and Bill Gates comes into my office and I'm like, what are your ideas? And I'm like, nah, I think I got this. I don't think you really know what you're talking about. Like, what are you doing? So thank you, Samantha. And all the Joe fans, make sure you send a message to Samantha and thank her. Thank her for, her bad taste of Rise of Cobra affecting the brand of G.I. Joe.
So this is a question I've meant to ask you for a while, and I thought, well, since we're talking about Hasbro now, we might as well. When you were there, and you could even speak, I don't know if you can speak to this about Jazzwares with Fortnite as well. They have to have like a target age and a target demo, that they're trying to reach with product. When you were at Hasbro, what was that for Joe? Did they even have one, or was it literally collectors?
They didn't, because we were just working on collector-focused product. Because, when you don't have, any anime, you can't just. It's hard to create a line that's kid-focused that really doesn't have anything behind it, and they won't let you do anything. So you kind of have to leverage what you know.
Yeah.
And we looked at it like, listen, guys our age, we're having kids. If you want to get guys our age that were into Joe's kids, let them buy this stuff now. get their kids. That's how the kids are gonna get into it. You're not gonna get kids just looking at a commercial and saying, "Whoa, what is G.I. Joe?" Okay, well, because they don't do enough for the brand, so you have to leverage what you have, and that's what we were trying to do. Like, listen, you got to leverage the people you have, and they just didn't give a shit. So no evergreen line for G.I. Joe. That's gonna be your bendies, dude. That's gonna be your bendies. Like, evergreen line, bendy.
Is Evergreen even like some of the stuff they're licensing, like World's Smallest and some of that?
No. They just do that to keep the trademarks and for people like me to stop stealing them. That's why they do it. So let me tell you something. Hasbro's lucky for loyal subjects, because if loyal subjects wasn't around, I'd make sure I stole Snake Eyes so they can never use it. But that's how they do it. That's how they do it. They here, do this vinyl figure. Okay, here's a pop. All right, great. Yeah. But yeah, that's I've told you guys a story about, Roadblock in that Comic-Con set. So it's like, it's things like that. They got to do that. I wonder who's keeping track of that now. Obviously not someone bright, because you kind of lost Steel Brigade. Not that they care. It's not like Steel Brigade's this huge name, but at the end
only losers like Steel Brigade.
Only losers. But you know what? They could never, ever do it again. Ever.
What's it called in the new game, in the mobile game?
I heard it's called something else.
Like Iron Brigade or something?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. I don't think that has anything to do with me, though. I think that game was in development before I even got Steel Brigade. But,
they obviously knew they didn't have the license at that time for the name. So instead of just re-upping the name, they just tried to
Steel Regiment. I think it's Steel Regiment is what it's now.
Maybe. At the end of the day, there's no one left there that's even going to know what Steel Brigade is to even use it. I mean, my hopes is one day some dummy decides to put it in there, and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to sue you and get a shit ton of money. But at the listen, I'm going to spend every dollar I own to make sure that I never ever lose Steel Brigade. Like, I will never. I'll die, and in my coffin, I'm going to have the trademark for Steel Brigade. They're never getting it back. Never.
I know we've. I know we talked a little about the movie. We pretty much probably think it's going to be nothing but a dumpster fire. But
it's just not going to be Joe. It's going to be like a ninja movie, but it's not necessarily going to be Snake Eyes as we recognize it.
So as far as a toy line, I had heard rumor from someone else had mentioned that there was a possibility that there was going to actually be a 6-inch line for the Joe movie, of this Snake Eyes movie, and it was possibly going to be maybe like a San Diego convention exclusive or HasCon exclusive, which of course that was another dumpster fire by Hasbro as well. Didn't happen. Do you think there would be something like that coming, or is it going to be more like role action play toys?
I know the answer to that question. I don't want to answer it just because it is insider information, and I don't want to put that out there. But I do know the answer to that question. I know what their plan was.
Was or is, or so if there was, it was. So it means there's none now.
There was a was, and you could probably piece the two together of something that got canceled. But
I mean, look, I don't think we're going to see anything Snake Eyes product wise at Toy Fair, because it's so far out. I think it'd be Comic-Con is where they would probably release it, because it's closer to when it would.
When's the movie?
October.
You'll see it at Toy Fair.
You think? Oh yeah, because it would be. They'd have to go into early production.
You got it, but you also Toy Fair's for retailers.
Yeah, that's true.
On board, especially for a fall set.
Now,
Comic-Con is for fans. It's not for retail. So you'll probably still see something. I wouldn't even be surprised if there's a Comic-Con exclusive. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to sell out on the first day like the Missile Command headquarters. But you may get something.
Yeah. And that would be a good way to keep the name out there, is to do a Comic-Con exclusive.
Yeah, so they'll probably do something. They'll probably do like when they did like Ray, like a first issue Ray, where you got her in Comic-Con packaging and then she was on shelves, the same exact offering, just in a different package like later on. But, I could be the first one to get her. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw that for Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Maybe a 2-pack, maybe singles, who knows.
If it's going to be in the store, if it's going to be in the store and it's just different packaging, I'm not going to sit there.
Come on,
break
baby.
my neck trying
That's Hasbro's MO, man. Even when I was on Marvel, we would do Comic-Con and then just release the figure 6 months later anyway.
The carbonized Mandalorian and the regular Mandalorian.
Listen, when they started doing that, I said, you guys are crazy. You are pissing people off. You mean to tell me that I'm going to make people spend $125 on a 6-figure set and you're just going to release half the figures later anyway? That's a dick move. And in a different color scheme, so they're going to have to buy them anyway? Like, great. You know what kind of thought process that is? It's the same thought process of the asshole that gave me this. That's the thought process.
What is that?
Yeah. I should probably tell you this asshole's name.
Oh, so put it back up. I want to read that. I can't see it all that well. Hold on.
But
the screen is horrifying. Make it stop.
Trying to change it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you'll get Comic-Con, but I really think you're going to see product at Toy Fair. I'm interested. Right. I'm glad I beat them to the punch. I'm glad my Kickstarter and my shit's over with. I could just laugh at it all, but
So speaking of your Kickstarter, January 31st, I believe, is the deadline to complete your surveys.
Yes, you have until January 31st. It is a Friday to get your surveys, your Kickstarter surveys complete. There's still like 120 people out there that just haven't completed their surveys. I know you're probably waiting to see if it's funded and waiting for some extra checks. I know a couple of people messaged me and said, hey, listen, I'm getting a big check towards the end of the month. I'm going to go big. I thank you for that. But January 31st, you have until then to finalize your orders. I'm sending out weekly updates to let you know about that, reminders. If you do not fulfill your order, it is a generous donation. I don't want to, if I get a message on the 1st of February that says, sorry, I missed it, I forgot all about it. I'm like, listen, man, can't make an omelet without cracking some eggs. It's you had all this time. I'm letting people know you have until the 31st. You can place new orders. You can add to your order. You can do anything you want. You can do anything to your order up until the 31st. After the 31st, it is locked and we are done. Everything is in China right now. My tooling hard copies, my files, my paint masters, everything. Everything's at China. We are ready to go, baby. Ready to go.
Nice.
Getting everything ready because Chinese New Year's in February. They're going to cut steel as soon as Chinese New Year is over. So very early March, we are going to cut steel, and I should have samples not too long after that. I'm tentatively planning to go out to China in the beginning of June to finalize, first samples and things like that. This way I can get some samples for Joe Fest in late June. And then we're ready, baby. We're going.
The samples you'll have at Joe Fest will be production samples. These can be
moved,
played with more, and
yes, sir.
Because I watched the Toy Galaxy video again the other day that Dan did, and he was, I don't want to touch them because, and it's understandable, they were prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how far are you away from reaching the final goal
for Eclipse?
Yeah,
she's far. I'll be honest, she's far off. She's more than halfway, but she's more than halfway there. But she's still off. If I had to bet, I don't think she's going to get funded unless there's like a big push. But I have to be honest about these things. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say, "Oh, she's doing great." Yeah, no, listen, we're far off. We're a good, 15,000 off from her. Okay. But I knew it was a struggle. But it's also me testing the fan base, testing the market, seeing. I could say, listen, when people say, "Oh, I wish there were female figures," hey man, I tried. I put it out there. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to see when I end it for her, whether it's going to be soon. I'll see how the numbers are going, see how they're trending. If they don't start to really pick up, I might end her sooner than later just to kind of see if then maybe we can unlock something new. Because not just funds for her coming in, funds are coming in for other items. And then those will go towards whatever the next unlocked item will be. I think it is the Riot Trooper is next, the blue trooper. So there's a good possibility that she might not get funded, but that may get funded. So, I'll keep everyone updated on what's going on. But yeah, she's far off, but we'll see.
What happens for the people that that put down funds for her if she doesn't get funded?
If she doesn't get funded, just like I said on all the updates, everyone will be refunded. So,
or will they have the opportunity to then take that money and go, well, here's another Steel Brigade then?
You could essentially, but low 76. Hold on, I'll get to that question in a second. Just keep it up there. Yes, you can essentially put that money towards something else, but all the Eclipse funds will have to get refunded first.
Got it.
And then when you get that money back, you can put it towards other things.
Okay.
And if by some chance you got a refund for something else, maybe put it towards Action Force. I heard there's some refunds going out. When you get if Eclipse doesn't fund and you get the refund, that's going to go out very quick. I've worked with CrowdOx to make sure it's an easy process. The second I say, all right, she's not funded, boom, we're going to pull the trigger and everyone's going to get refunded.
Okay.
Just for the Eclipse items. And then
they'll get an email notification about that because CrowdOx is ridiculously good at reminding you.
Yeah, and I've heard no negative feedback about CrowdOx. I've gotten a lot. You usually don't hear the positive comments, but a lot of people have said this platform is great. I really like it. So I know I've talked to John Russell. He's asked me about it for future reference. Other people have asked me about it for future Kickstarters. CrowdOx is awesome. It's very awesome. If you're looking to do a Kickstarter, I would say, or any sort of crowdfunding, they can be your secondary kind of fulfillment because they're really great. They've got great people there. They're always available. They get back to you super quick. They don't take the reason why I went with them over BackerKit, even though people know BackerKit wanted a piece of the Kickstarter. They wanted a percentage of the Kickstarter, something they had nothing to do with.
Wow.
No, we want X amount of dollars from the Kickstarter. And I'm like, no, you're not going to get that. You had nothing to do with it. CrowdOx was like, nope, that Kickstarter's yours. That's your thing. We'll take everything from our end out. So that's why I like it. And I think they're just so much better. It's very user friendly. So I like that. I like CrowdOx a lot. So yeah, 31st, low 76. Hey, Bobby, for those who missed the Kickstarter, will you be selling the figures anywhere else besides Big Bad Toy Store? Yes, I will be selling them on the Valaverse website once all the production is done. So not until later on, when everything is fulfilled and the people that back the Kickstarter and CrowdOx get theirs, they can send out, they'll be able to place orders. I'm thinking about possibly putting out orders, pre-orders, depending on the, my quantity numbers. I'll talk to the factory, maybe for Joe Fest. Maybe I'll do a convention kind of weekend pre-order sale on the Valaverse site for that. So that's a possibility, but they will definitely be available if you missed it. But if you missed the Kickstarter, you can still go on to CrowdOx and place an order. Just because you didn't get it on the Kickstarter, you can still place an order now.
The only difference on CrowdOx and BBTS is that they have to pay now on CrowdOx versus BBTS. They don't charge you till it ships.
Yeah,
that's the only difference.
But also, if you go through CrowdOx, if you're looking at say like 5 or 6 figures, you get a bigger discount. Whereas their figures are straight price. Yeah, they have lower shipping, but I think the deal ends up being a little better if you go through CrowdOx because the more figures you get, the bigger discount you get. Bobby, have you thought about doing something like John Russell and maybe do a 1.5 wave pre-order name characters? I don't think I want to follow anything John does. No, I'm just kidding.
Especially tacos.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking at because there's, as you saw, how all the items that on the Kickstarter that didn't fund. I'm tooling the majority of that stuff. So there's a lot of parts for figures that didn't reach their unlocked goal, but those parts are in molds that I'm actually tooling. I was able to, move some of those parts in there. It's just that we didn't get to the production numbers for it. So there's definitely a chance that I'll end up doing something like that. John's got a good system, so we'll see.
He must have walked away for a second when he asked this question.
Gotcha. but yeah, who knows? Maybe the 1.5 will be for Eclipse and maybe Pandora, because they kind of share molds and things like that. So if she doesn't fund, so we'll see. Jeffrey, yes, you have until the 28th for Eclipse. Like I said, if by some chance her numbers don't start to really improve, I may end it sooner. There has to be kind of a big push from now on out for me to consider keeping her out there until the end. So I'm going to keep a close eye. I watch this stuff daily. So we'll see how it goes.
One other thing I want to talk about tonight, I think Fred might have done this Kickstarter as well as I did. Larry Hama, the Real American Creator action figure, we got another update on a timeline. For anyone who actually did this, the new timeline is January, revising samples to meet expectations, prep manufacture. February, Chinese New Year, factory closed for holiday. So is the whole month of February, is everything closed? The whole entire month?
Listen, they party real hard.
Jesus Christ, man.
Dragons,
you're going in the wrong month, Bobby.
Huh?
You're going to China in the wrong month. You need to go.
I gotta work, man. I can't go.
He's not going to get anything done. He goes there during February.
That's where you need to be at.
I'm gonna go over there during Chinese New Year, and I'm gonna wake up like the Hangover. I'm gonna have a Mike Tyson tattoo. I'm not gonna know what's going on.
You're gonna be. There's gonna be a tiger in your bathroom for some reason.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I gotta go. I gotta go when the work needs to get done. I'm going there for work, baby. Work.
Yeah. And then in March they're going to start manufacturing. April 1st through the 10th, product inspection. April 15th to the 20th, shipment leaves for the U.S. In May, delivery arrives in our warehouse. Inspection, delivery, sort for shipments, and fulfillment begins. Then below that, this is subject to change. Well, it's been kind of changing for 2 years. So
it's the nature of the beast, man. It's
I'm just saying.
Look, here's the deal. Kickstarters. And I'm not trying to insult anybody who's done them because I have friends that have done many. Kickstarters are a risk. It tells you that there is, even if it successfully funds, you're basically rolling the dice on a creator, and things can go wrong. And it's not like an individual creator like Bobby is like a mega $1 million corporation like Hasbro, who, something goes wrong and cost overruns go through the roof. And, it may seem like Bobby's in a palatial estate in the room that he's in now with all that, but Bobby's a working guy, and he can't bankroll a whole nother production run on his own if something goes wrong. So my point of all this is that when you back a Kickstarter, you're hoping on an ideal outcome. A lot of times they do come through, and look, the guys with Fresh Monkey and Eagle Force have had a pretty rough go of it. When you get it in hand, you're going to be happy about it. And so, once I've always said, when I back a Kickstarter, that money is gone. Once I commit it to the project, it's gone. And then I'm hoping that I'm going to get a box of stuff. Now, people like Marauder, people like Boss Fight, people like Bobby, who have experience, who've either from industry side or having gone through this before, they know the pitfalls and everything. They know the people to work with. But a lot of these guys, the Hama stuff was part of Eagle Force. That was part of that first wave of action figure Kickstarters. Mm-hmm. It was still kind of unproven ground for a lot of people back then. So I
just wanted it to get it autographed. Now I can't.
You know what? Hama has still, as long as he's out doing conventions and shows, turned down signing stuff from what I've seen. He's really good to his fans. So I still look at it as I'm going to be happy to have a little Larry Hama. And that's got to be creepy for Larry to be like, it's different when it's Tunnel Rat and he just kind of looks like you, but Larry, it's like, hey, Mr. Hama, can you sign you? I had a friend years ago who, when I was working in Boston at FAO Schwarz, we got the X-Files figures in from the movie. And oddly enough, David Duchovny and Taya Leone were spotted over on Newbury Street, which was like a block over. And my buddy worked up at Houghton Mifflin in the same building as us, came running down, bought a figure, went running out, and spent his afternoon stalking Newbury Street till he stumbled across David Duchovny and Taya Leone. And Duchovny looked at him with shock and horror. And the way he told the story was, if it hadn't been for Taya Leone, he wouldn't have gotten the autograph. Because she's like, oh, it's a little you, and thought it was cute. So it is what it is.
One more thing before we jump off for the night. I can't find the link, but for people who did do John Russell's cowboy line, he posted a link. He's doing an exclusive with the Dallas-Fort Worth G.I. Joes. It's going to be a Texas Ranger, and kind of like pre-orders went up for it. It's $55, and that gets you a weekend pass plus the action figure itself, which will be, to my understanding, a exclusive for conventions he goes to. Not for sure if he's stated it'll go up afterwards or not.
It's for that Dallas-Fort Worth G.I. Joe show, and so basically it's the deal that John's got up is kind of like buying a non-attending membership to JoeCon. You know,
but cheaper.
Yeah, well, but it's the same principles. You're paying a cost similar to the people that are going. You're going to get, I think, a shirt. I don't think you get the hat. Oh no, the shirt's extra. The shirt's extra.
Right. He had pitched the idea of doing the shirt and the hat together, but they went against that. So I think, to my understanding, that's going to be something extra on the side. It's $55 for the figure and to get in for the weekend.
So if you're me and live in Central Illinois and you're not going to the show, it's a $55 figure.
Or you can just, hey, Mike, can you pick one up for me while you're down there?
Hey, Mike.
I could.
Because Mike only lives 4 hours from John. Mike's going to it. And they'll be for sale at the show.
I want to live in Texas so bad.
Do what?
I want to live in Texas so bad.
I wish you'd come. You'd be so much closer. Yeah. Just imagine.
You are like practically Texan in all your attitudes.
I just want to listen. Let me tell you something. If there's open carry in Texas, I would get just shoulder holsters. That's what I would do.
Oh, Bobby likes barbecue. Bobby likes bourbon. Bobby likes guns. Bobby likes Texas.
I got a pickup truck. My shotgun would be hanging on a rack in the back of my pickup truck. It'd be awesome.
Your wife would ride in the middle of the truck, not on the passenger side.
I'd have steer horns on the front of my truck. I'd be the fakest cowboy ever. Like ever. I would try to perfect a fake accent just to make it seem like I'm really from Texas.
If you ever get to the point where you're doing action force vehicles, I don't care what it is, I want a convention exclusive vehicle with big freaking steer horns. The only difference can be, it can be a motorcycle. I don't care if it's a jetpack. I don't care if it's one of the Swarm Trooper packs. I want one where there's just an optional set of steer horns you can glue onto the figure's head.
I think about vehicles all the time. And about a week ago, it just came to me. And I've got an idea for vehicles. And as long as this line takes off, oh man, shit's gonna get real. I'll show people that vehicles can be done at 6-inch scale.
And what, not be like a TIE fighter that is an end table?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I mean, you're gonna have to pay for them, but you'll get them.
By the way, Mike, just before we sign off, is there a reason why we can't see you tonight?
Oh, it's I've switched the whole thing. I don't even do my I don't let people see.
What are you hiding? Oh.
Somewhere, because I think McLeod's still in England.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I was gonna say somewhere in England, McLeod just like he just like feels like the cold touch of death on him right now. Oh, for God's sakes! It's
Chris,
okay. Now we're
Chris
getting
is gonna. Me
Me
and
and
Chris
buddy.
are in a friend fight that he doesn't know about.
Who?
Me
You-
and McLeod, we're in a friend fight, and he doesn't know
You didn't
about
know
it.
about it?
He doesn't know about it. Because it's like, listen, you did a news burst about John Real. He was my fucking boss, man. Sorry, can I say
Dude,
that, Mom?
dude.
It's like you already did.
He was my boss.
Go through the misses. Don't go through the mister.
I worked at Jazzwares and Hasbro. You didn't think like, hey, we can keep Justin on. I'm not saying we can't keep Justin on. Maybe bring in a third guest. I don't know. I'm just saying. You listen. There's resources out there. I'll let anybody use the shit out of me. I don't care. Use me. But all right, it's fine.
Oh
No, I'm not gonna drive a caddy. Listen, I'm a pickup truck guy for life now. Once I got my truck, I was like, nope, that's it. It's got to be real high off the ground, and that's it.
I want a Lone Wolf
real big bars to
McCade
get on?
action figure with Bobby's head on it.
What was that?
I want a Lone Wolf McCade action figure with your head on it.
Hey, there's a figure out there with my head on it. Silence. The crowd deafens.
Makes you think about which one it is now.
Because people keep asking me, like, oh, you're Karak. Oh, you're this. No, I'm not any of my Action Force characters. You know why? Because I'm already on an action figure.
I have to stop and think now.
It has to be a Star Wars figure.
Fred, if you get it, I'll PayPal you $100 right now.
Oh, shit. No, I'm not going to get it right now. There's pressure.
It's a figure I worked on. Listen, I definitely put my head on a figure. I did that. I was the egomaniac that did that.
Everybody does that.
Well, no. Usually, like, other designers will put other designers' heads on there.
Okay.
I did it when I was like really young, and I'm like, ooh, I'm definitely putting my head on here. But my name that's on the Transformer, I didn't do that. Someone else did. Yeah, Ruben, nobody called you. Why would they?
Oh,
Why would they?
I miss Ruben.
So your name is on a Transformer character?
Yeah, the Masterpiece Acid Storm. My name is on one side of the cockpit. It says Master Sergeant B. Vicious Vala.
Nice.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm gonna have to think about this now because I have.
It's unbearded.
Oh wow.
Unbearded.
Which is fine because the beard. I haven't known you didn't have the beard when I first met you.
Yeah,
I
I
think
did.
You did. You?
I had the beard. I started growing the beard after I got married in 20.
Oh, Ruben.
And then I grew the beard out like after that. So yeah,
he was clean shaven for the honeymoon. After that, he went grew it out.
All right, kids. I think this is a good point to break tonight because I'm gonna have to start thinking. It's gotta be Legends.
I will say this. I think I've mentioned it before, but the character has my name.
The funny part is, I think you've told me this before in the past, and I don't remember what it was now. God, I think I remember him telling me this.
Character has my name. Hold on. Hold on. I might have the 3D print. Oh, I do.
Oh, this is killing me.
I do. So this
problem is you've worked on a couple of lines.
That's the 3D print of my head. With me, no beard.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's me. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if it's one I would own or not because I don't collect everything that you've worked on.
Is it Marvel?
Well, that would just give it away now, wouldn't it?
You just yeah.
I was thinking Iceman.
Why? What's Iceman's name?
Bobby.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Maybe.
All right, on that happy note.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll be back in a few weeks. We'll update the pages where we'll be on and who we'll have on. And so, Bobby, thanks for coming in and educating the community on what they thought it was. And you stomped their hope and dreams down the toilet.
I don't like to do it. Listen,
I know you don't. I'm just joking.
Yes. I hate Hasbro with everything I have. I want the G.I. Joe movie to do well. I don't think it's going to. I want it to. I really do. I want to be surprised. I want there to be this influx of Joe product, and I really, really do. So I don't come out here just shitting on it just because of my ties with Hasbro. I just, like I said, this is just to educate people, because I don't want people to feel like they're getting their hopes up about something and then it doesn't happen, and then they're mad, and then it's like when Jazzwares doesn't show figures, you're like, why aren't we getting Fortnite G.I. Joe figures? Well, this is why. This is why. So, but buy Action Force. Couple days left, month, half the month left. Go buy some Action Force stuff.
Look, can you ever have enough Steel Brigade and Condor figures, because they're both troop builders, or they can be.
Right as of right now, Steel Brigade is the highest quantity figure I have right now. I'm not surprised, but
no, that was kind of a gimme.
They're troop building as well.
Yeah. But I've got things in the works. You're going to see all sorts of updates soon. I'm working with Bill Nidro on, the next sort of mythos expansion in a way. We've got some. He sent me some stuff the other day, and I was reading through it, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" Like,
Bill's good people.
Bill's really good.
Bill's really good people.
I threw some ideas to him, and he was like, "Whoa, I didn't see that coming!" Like twists and turns. So, as long as I can get artists that can deliver on time, I'm gonna keep pumping out comics and stuff like that. I'm also, for those of you that know, the Steel Brigade tracker site that I developed, I'm in the process of revamping that site just to make it a little more user friendly, and just because I feel like I've neglected it a bit, and I've freed up some time, and there's going to be some new news on that site as well. You're going to be able to submit your Steel Brigade a lot easier this time. It's going to be an all around better site, so that's going to be coming in the next couple months as well.
Very cool. All right, Mike, sign us off.
All right. I'm trying to get back to the screen. Okay. So again, we'll be back in a few weeks. Fred, tell me where they can find you at.
Joe Battle Lines everywhere. And
Bobby.
actually, for Bobby, it's Valaverse everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere Valaverse.
You
people are actually here at the very beginning.
Oh, you know what? I know I never really give you guys like good scoops, but I'll give you one just because I love you guys.
Aww.
So I was told, now for those of you who haven't seen, Dave Proctor is the one that is working at the factory that is helping me with Action Force. So now that you know that I have a great person behind the scenes, he told me that they have a process in production that they're able to do something, and we're able to enact it on the Action Force figures. So for those of you, I know you've seen WWE, Star Wars Black Series, Marvel Legends, these nice, they call it inkjet printing on the faces. It's not a traditional deco where it's a spray op or spray mask or anything like that. It's actually, they put the head under an inkjet printer and it prints the different shading and the depth in the eye and things like that. So you get that really nice look to those figures. Well, Action Force figures will have inkjet printing on their faces.
Nice.
Cool.
I am in the process of, I have it up on my screen now, I started with Condor. I'm doing the file for the inkjet printing for the faces. So you won't just have hard lines on the eyes and eyelashes and things like that. You're going to have that nice inkjet printing like you have on the Black Series, on WWE, on Marvel Legends. I think Power Rangers does it as well. So I've never done it before. So hopefully we can make it look awesome. I've been told how to do it. So we'll see. But yes, that's just another new thing that I'm doing. So Hasbro, Mattel, you're not the only ones. I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for the little guy.
I'm coming. And just wait. Listen, wait till you see these figures in production, because wait till I show you what I'm doing that no other toy company has ever done before. Just wait. Just wait. When I don't want to show it now. I want to show it when I have the actual first shot in my hand and say, look, do you notice anything different about this? What's different about this? And what's different about Hasbro and Mattel? Just wait. Doing stuff that no other toy company has ever done before. It'll be a first ever in the toy industry. So we're breaking new ground here.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And thanks to you guys joining tonight. And we'll be back later date.